Welcome to Realm Painters, and welcome to another Spearhead tutorial. As requested, I have started the new Soulblight Gravelord Spearhead, the Bony Boys one. So this tutorial series is going to be broken up into two parts. This part is the chaff and slightly more elite chaff of this specific box, and the next tutorial will be of the cavalry and of the white. So the reason I broke it down into these two sections is I actually wanted to do it in one big one. However, I didn't really have enough time to do both the horse and the white in the same tutorial. This covers the basics of painting the Deathrattle Skeletons and the Barrow Knights. So if you're interested, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty of other tutorials planned. I know it's kind of October. We kind of fell off the tutorial and went straight into Orktober. I promise that won't ever happen again because you guys didn't seem to want to watch those types of videos, but we're back to the typical tutorials for at least a little while. If you have any spearheads or combat patrols that you'd like to see a tutorial on, or a specific model, or whatever you want a tutorial on, let us know. But with that, I think we can just get into this tutorial. First step is to prime your model black. I ran out of canned primer, so I used black primer from Pro Acryl. Next, you're going to dry brush Ryza Rust all over all of the metallic parts of the skeleton, so the armor, the shield, and the weapon. Following that, you're going to dry brush Leadbelcher over the rust. You can control the erosion by either doing a heavy or light dry brush in this step. At this point, if your model has any scales and the hilt of the dagger, you'll want to paint that with Balthazar Gold. Next, you're going to lightly dry brush Runefang. Mainly try and catch the edges of the model, basically doing a speedy edge highlight. Lastly, for the armor, do a recess shade, basically putting in the shadows, with Agrax Earthshade under the arms and around the neck, and then fully wash the gold scales. Time to do the bones themselves. To keep it simple, since you're going to be painting 20 of these bony boys, base coat the bones with Ushapti bone. This should take about 1 to 2 layers. Once that's dry, wash over the bones with Skeleton Horde. If you'd like to add a little bit of grittiness or to make the bones look a little dirty, mix a drop of Agrax in with your Skeleton Horde before washing. Now time for the shield. Base coat the outside of the shield with deepkin flesh. This will take a couple of layers, and there is no need to be precise as we will clean up the silver later. After that, mix Coelia green shade with contrast medium about 50-50 and wash over the deepkin. Be sure to pool it in all of the crevices. After that dries, go back and stipple deepkin onto the shield to give it a more corroded look. Now lastly for the shield, clean up all of the silver and paint the middle ring with Liberator Gold. Nearly done. Base coat all of the leather straps with Doombull Brown. Now wash the brown with Agrax Earthshade. After that, all that's left is the cloak. Base coat the cloak with Black Legion. If you'd like to do a highlight, go ahead with Dawnstone, but honestly, I don't think it's necessary because now you've got about 19 more of these guys to paint. The Barrow Knights are the elite form of the skeletons, and therefore a lot of these steps will be very similar to the Deathrattle Skeletons, but taken one step farther. First things first, you're going to want to base coat the armor with Runelord Brass. Then base coat the shield, the wing holders, and the weapon with Leadbelcher. Then with Hachette Copper base coat the wings on the helmet. After that, with Balthazar Gold, paint the scales throughout the armor. Next, do a wash with Agrax over the scales and brass armor. Try to pool it in the recesses of the armpits and neck. While that dries, with watered down Gryph-hound orange, wash over the Hashut copper. Try and get it to pool more towards the silver connecting pieces to get that cool gradient. And lastly, for the armor, edge highlight the armor and the blade of your weapon with Runefang steel. After the armor dries, it's time to do the armor damage. Paint those areas, any nicks or scrapes or dents, with Nihilic Oxide. Nihilic Oxide is a technical and does require a little bit of finesse work to get it to look good. Next, we'll do the skeleton. We will actually follow the same recipe as the Deathrattle Skeleton until after the wash of Skeleton Horde, where we will do a highlight of Wraithbone. After that, we will do the shield. And with the shield, it is the same recipe as the Deathrattle Skeletons, but when we get to the Liberator Gold portion, we will also paint the sword hilt. Next, with Khorne Red, we will paint the tassels on the helmet and sword. And with Mephiston Red, we will highlight the Khorne. The second to last step of this boy is the leather. Once again, we will be doing the same thing that we did with the Deathrattle Skeleton, except for adding a highlight of Scrag Brown at the end. Next, base coat the cloak with Black Legion. Then, highlight the Black Legion with Adamastrum Grey. If your guys also have the little bottle on his hip, I would paint that with Dawnstone. just like that, you now know how to paint the Deathrattle Skeleton and the Barrow Knight. Now, as you could tell from the Barrow Knights portion of the tutorial, a lot of the steps are very similar, if not straight up the same between these two units. They're skeletons. They're pretty self-explanatory. They're pretty simple in the grand scheme of things. And the next two tutorials, I am stepping it up a little bit. The horses, I'm going to do a slightly more detailed version of painting bone, but the guys themselves will still be just bony boys. And then the white, I'm going to take it even a little bit of a step further and do a little bit more of a detailed, because he's the character, he's the general, he's the leader. You got to give him the sauce to make sure he's looking good. But if you enjoyed today's tutorial and you want to see more tutorials like this, please leave a like. Let us know in the comments that you like watching these tutorials. It helps us know what you guys are interested in. And yeah, I think that's about all I have for you. So I'll catch you guys in the next realm. See ya.